Zamfara FIRSC embarks on plate number enforcement. Civil society groups to storm National Assembly over social media bill. Kano Assembly gets committee to investigate Emir Sanusi. On business, oil moves lower as strict ICE OPEC meeting. And on the international scene, Italy shut down schools as death toll hits 107. Welcome to Standard Voice Television News. My name is Samira Ibrahim. Now the news in full. As part of the efforts to address insecurity and criminality, the Federal Svtv FIRSC Zamfara State Command has commenced the enforcement on abuse of plate number among motorists across the 3 senatorial districts in the state. This was made known by the FRSC Co-Commander Wihiyoka Uchechukwu, Sector Commander, Zamfara State Command, in an interview with newsmen in his office on Tuesday, shortly after addressing the Combined Squad of Nigeria Police FIRSC on the enforcement patrol across the state. Mr. Uchechukwu stated that the enforcement exercise was based on the directive given by the FIRSC National Headquarters under the leadership of Dr. Boboye Olayemi Oyeyemi on the need to sanitize rampant abuse of plate numbers among motorists in the country and also improve security. He said the essence of the enforcement exercise is to check the indiscriminate use of such numbers by motorists in the state and address the lingering insecurity challenge. Mr. Uchechukwu said the enforcement is basically on the abuse of plate number vehicle, expired plate number, incomplete non-vehicles registration, abuse of sirens, use of unauthorized NPF spy numbers, and use of expired NAS plate numbers. He appealed to motorists in Zamfara State to adhere to the FIRSC enforcement exercise and abide by the law in order to ensure effective security for their lives and property. Mr. Uchechukwu stated that most of the car thefts and other criminality are due to illegal use of plate numbers among motorists, and the FIRSC enforcement exercise is strictly initiated to address the ugly trend, and the enforcement exercise will be sustained in the state. Civil society groups to storm National Assembly over social media bill. Addressing journalists in Abuja on Wednesday, convener of the protest, Buki Shonibari, said the attempt by the Senate to resuscitate the bill already rejected by the people constitute an assault on Nigerians. No fewer than 110 civil society organizations will on Monday, March 9, 2020, storm the National Assembly Abuja to express their grievances against the proposed social media bill. The groups under the aegis of Coalition of Civil Society Organizations for Protection of Civil Space said the bill will further stifle and muzzle freedom of expression in Nigeria if passed into law. Mrs. Shonibari added that the bill was a direct affront on the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria as amended, which guarantees human rights, including freedom of expression. She stressed further that the planned clampdown on internet users and critics of government has shown a rising pattern of suppression. She therefore called on lawmakers to use the public hearing to apologize to Nigerians for wasting legislative time in resuscitating an obnoxious bill that had been totally rejected by the people. Mrs. Shonibari said the Senate should rather promote bills that will improve the civic space and not unduly restrict it. The bill is stretched to constitutionally and internationally guaranteed human rights. The Senate should also note that there are enough existing laws in the country's statute books on defamation, privacy, libel and slander to protect public and private individuals, along with the 2015 Cyber Crimes Act. There is absolutely no need for a new law, especially targeting the internet and social media platforms. Mrs. Shonibari said over 110 organizations have jointly signed a petition submitted to the committee and will mobilize to attend the public hearing. The Emir of Kano, Muhammad Sanusi II, is again embroiled in another fresh trouble, as the Kano State House Assembly has set up an 8-man committee to investigate alleged violations of culture and traditions, as well as religious norms of Kano against Emir Muhammad Sanusi II. The Committee on Public Petition was mandated to investigate a petition submitted before the House by an association and an individual over the attitude and character of the Emir, which they claim was in dispute to the culture and religion. The committee, which was headed by the Deputy Speaker, Hamisu Chidari, and 7 others, were given 1 week to investigate and submit its report, as well as recommend appropriate actions, after extensive deliberation by the House. The groups are Kano State for Promotion of Education and Culture and Muhammad Mukhtar Ja'in Yamma, Gwale Local Government Area, on the petition. The 2 groups appealed to the lawmakers to investigate the alleged purported misconduct and take an appropriate stand on it. However, the atmosphere in the ancient city remains calm as the new developments continue to generate discussion. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Mohammed, says the outbreak of COVID-19 has negatively impacted Nigeria's oil revenue, saying a mid-time review of the 2020 budget will be carried out to reflect the realities on the ground. The minister stated this when she fielded questions from State House correspondents at the end of the meeting of the Federal Executive Council, which was presided over by the President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, at the State House, Abuja, on Wednesday. According to her, the international oil price has dropped to $52 below the budget benchmark of $57 per barrel, impacting negatively on the nation's estimated revenue for the fiscal year. The minister, however, revealed that the nation's oil production had increased between 2 million barrels and 2.1 million barrels per day. She said the administration is concerned about the current drop in oil price because it's now below the budget. She explained that the oil production as of today is 2 million barrels per day, and at times slightly higher, and that in itself will be a cushioning effect for the nation in the current oil price. In an unprecedented development, several senior-level civil servants deployed to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management by the head of service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemi Ihsan, have been rejected by the Minister, Hajiya Sadiya Umar Faruk. Some of those affected include deputy directors and directors posted to the ministry that was created in August last year to provide the human resources backup for its take-up. This reveals that 28 directorate-level civil servants were posted by Yemi Ihsan to the ministry during the last exercise. However, only 9 of them were accepted by the ministry, forcing the rest to return to the ministry's departments and agencies from where they were posted. The sources disclosed that those recommended by head of service of the Federation were rejected because they had no clearly defined role in the ministry, considering the fact that the minister also brought her own team when she was appointed. It was gathered that the head of service of the Federation was displeased with the developments. One of the affected officials, who pleaded anonymity, said they were rejected because the minister brought many aides, and retaining some of the directors will amount to duplication of roles. The list forwarded by the head of service was rejected because many of the affected were senior civil servants of the ranks not lower than assistant director. Following the suspension of the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress (APC), Adams Oshomole, police have taken over the party's national secretariat in Abuja. Police patrol vans were seen at the APC secretariat in Abuja after Adams Oshomole's suspension. Mr. Justice Alami Sanchi had earlier ordered Oshomole to stop parading himself as the national chairman of the APC. Justice Sanchi gave the order following an application of interlocutory injunction filed by one Oluwale Afolabi, and the APC was also named as a defendant in the case. Mr. Afolabi had argued that Oshomole had not challenged the decision of the party to suspend him. APC National Chairman Adam Oshomole has been asked to step down as chairman of the party. The applicant noted Oshomole could not enjoy benefit as a member of the party since he has been suspended. The judge ordered Oshomole to stop parading himself as the national chairman of the APC. The judge faulted the APC for keeping Oshomole as chairman when he had been suspended by the party in his state. Senchi ordered that Oshomole should not be granted access to the national secretariat of the party in the Wuse area of Abuja. The National Working Committee (NWC) of the All Progressives Congress (APC) has approved the nomination of former Oyo State Governor Senator Obiola Ajimobi as the party's Deputy National Chairman South. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Laure Issa Onilu, announced this in a statement on Wednesday. He explained that the party's National Working Committee gave the approval following Ajimobi's nomination from the zone. Senator Ajimobi's emergence as the APC Deputy National Chairman comes more than 1 year after he lost his bid to return to the Senate in the February 2023 polls. Having completed his 2 terms as governor, Ajimobi was defeated by Senator Kola Balagun of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the Ibadan South Senatorial District election. Meanwhile, the APC leadership has approved the nomination of Mr. Paul Chukuma as the APC National Auditor. According to Issa Onilu, Mr. Waziri Bulama also emerged as the party's acting national secretary. He said the decision was reached during the meeting of the National Working Committee held on January 14th at the party's national secretariat in Abuja. The APC spokesman noted that the party had given notice for a replacement from the zone following the resignation of Mr. Maibala Bunu as the APC National Secretary in May 2019, prior to his election as the governor of Yobe State. Comrade Adams Oshomole has insisted that he remains the national chairman of the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC), despite the order of a court that he should vacate the office. In a statement by his chief press secretary, Simon Ebemule, Oshomole said he remains the chairman because APC's lawyers had filed for a stay of execution of the judgment ordering his removal from office. Mr. Simon said in a statement that the legal department is studying the matter and have filed for a stay of execution and appealed the ruling. The press secretary said, with those processes, Oshomole remains the national chairman of the party. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Bashir Jamu as the Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA. Mr. Jamu will replace the Kuku Peter Said, who was appointed in 2016 to head the Maritime Agency. Mr. Peter Said's tenure as NIMASA DG ends on March 10, 2020. The newly appointed DG is currently the Executive Director for Admin and Finance at NIMASA. Mr. Jamu, who hails from Kaduna, is also the current president of the Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria. The 56-year-old holds a PhD from the University of Port Harcourt, specializing in logistics and transport management. He also holds a master's degree in management from Korea Maritime and Ocean University, a postgraduate diploma in management sciences from Bayero University, Kano, and a diploma in accounting from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. The couple understand that he has 36 years of professional experience in the transportation and maritime sector. He is also the author of the book Harnessing Nigeria's Maritime Asset Past, Present and Future. Mr. Jamu joined NIMASA in 2003 as an Assistant Chief Commercial Officer, Eastern and Central Zones. He served with the Kaduna State Government before transferring his services to the then National Maritime Authority in 1994. President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates Mrs. Folasade Yemi Esan after the swearing-in as the head of civil service of the Federation held at the Council Chambers, Abuja. The brief ceremony took place at the Executive Council Chambers of the State House when the oath was also administered on the new head of service by the President. Mrs. Yemi Esan, who spoke after the ceremony, promised to prioritize the training of civil servants. The new head of service appointment was approved by President Muhammadu Buhari last week following the retirement of Mrs. Winifred Ekanem Oyo-Ita from the Federal Civil Service.
I'd like to assure him that by the grace of God, I will work to ensure that his programs, his projects come to fruition and that the service delivery is improved tremendously. I think over the years, civil servants have been beaten, have been downtrodden, but by the grace of God, I'd like them to lift their heads high, because the assignments that are given unto them is from God, and I'd like to encourage them to work assiduously, because hard work pays, and by the grace of God, we will ensure that those that are working very, very hard are rewarded. You can't expect much when you don't put in much into anybody. So for me, training would be my number one priority.
The Kaduna State House Assembly on Wednesday amended the State Pension and Gratuity Law 2006 for governors and their deputies to provide for death benefits to any of them who died while in service. The benefit, as provided in the amendments, will be lump sum of gross annual salary of the incumbent governor or deputy governor as death benefit to the family. News Agency of Nigeria, NAN, reports that the lawmakers unanimously passed the amendment at plenary presided by the Deputy Speaker, Alhaji Mukhtar Hazo. Already there is provision in the law for payment of pension and gratuity for former governors and deputies in the state. Speaking after the sitting, Alhaji Suleiman Dabo, representing Zaria constituency, explained that the law was amended to ensure fairness to any governor or deputy who might die while serving the state. Looking at the critical roles and responsibilities being carried out by these two individuals, it would be unfair to say that in the event of death, which can happen to either of the two while in office, they will just go like that without anything to their families. Mr. Dabo said the lawmakers believe that in the principal law there is a problem because it is a human document and there must be error. As such, the amendment was necessary. Meanwhile, the House has condoled with the people of the 5 villages in which 51 people were massacred by bandits on Sunday in Igabi and Giwa local government areas. The members, however, did not discuss on what needed to be done in such security situation or what kind of assistance they will offer to the affected villagers and the families of the deceased. 8 persons, including 5 female students, a teacher and 2 gatemen, have been reportedly kidnapped by armed bandits in Niger State. The victims were taken from Tula Academy at Moruba in Mariga local government area of Niger State. A reporter gathered that one of them later escaped from their abductors. The State Commissioner of Police, Adamu Muhammad, confirmed the abduction on Wednesday when a combined team of police and military personnel visited the area. CP Usman said no amount of pressure and intimidation will deter the police from discharging their constitutional mandate of safeguarding lives and properties of people in the state. He explained that the assessment is to enable them to deploy additional security tactics and maneuvers to tackle insecurity in the state effectively. He said, despite the size of 10% landmass of Niger State, security agencies working in the state are working in synergy to curtail the security challenges. The perfect interagency security collaboration existing between them had assisted greatly towards achieving most of the success recorded and called for more collaboration and support to defeat the bandits completely. The commissioner also lamented that the bandits have taken advantage of absence of network service to strike the primary school in the night. He said that because of network problem, the Niger State Police Command only got to know 24 hours after the incident had occurred. He also blamed the porous nature of the school and poor location as factors that enable bandits to take advantage of it. He, however, advised the villagers to form local vigilante group, which will be screened by the DPO in the area, towards complementing the efforts of security agencies. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back on Business. Over to Rita.
Welcome to Business Desk. Oil prices fell on Wednesday despite expectation that major producers have moved closer to an agreement to enhance deeper output cuts aimed at offsetting the slump in demand caused by the coronavirus outbreak. U.S. West Texas Intermediate fell 40 cents or 0.8% to settle at $46.78 per barrel, and Brent crude was unchanged at $51.86 per barrel. The U.S. Energy Information Administration said on Wednesday that for the week ending February 28, inventories increased by $800 per barrel, which was more than analysts had been expecting. Saudi Arabia and other OPEC members are seeking to persuade Russia on Wednesday to join them in large additional oil output cuts to prompt oil prices, which have tumbled because of the coronavirus outbreak. Market analysts at FSTM Hantan said, with demand side uncertainties having already dragged Brent futures about 90% lower since the start of the year, oil upside appears significantly capped amid persistent concerns over the coronavirus outbreak. And that's all on Business Text. Until I come your way again.
And on the international scene, Italy on Wednesday closed all schools and universities until March 15th as the number of deaths from the new coronavirus in the Mediterranean country hit 107. The measure is the most restrictive response to COVID-19 of any European nation and tougher than the closure of schools but not universities taken by a fellow group of 7 G8 member Japan. Italy reported 28 more deaths, the highest single-day total to deaths. The nation of 60 million people has now recorded over 3,000 cases and only trails China in terms of total fatalities. Other measures discussed by top ministers and reported by Italian media include what promises to be an unpopular plan to play all football matches without fans for a month. Italy has borne the brunt in Europe of a disease that is now spreading across the world faster than it is in the central Chinese region, where it was first detected last year. The problem for the Italian government is that existing restrictions, including quarantine of 11 towns with 50,000 people in the north, have failed to stop the outbreak. The overwhelming majority of the fatalities have occurred in Milan's Lombardy region and the neighboring northern area around the cities of Bologna and Venice. But 21 of the 22 regions have now had cases, and infections are slowly reaching Italy's less wealthy and developed south. The government reported the first death south of Rome, which came in the Puglia region that surrounds the city of Bari, in the heel of the Italian boots on the map. Top government ministers spent hours huddling Wednesday to chart a way out of a health crisis that threatened to tip Italy's wheezy economy into recession and overwhelm hospitals. Most of the steps being considered involve ways to avoid crowds and keep people from coming in contact with each other outdoors. Media reports said people will be advised to stay at least a meter 3 feet apart and to avoid crowded places whenever possible. The traditional greetings of kissing on the cheeks or shaking hands are strongly discouraged. Exhibits and shows are set to be rescheduled, a measure that will be especially painful for Italy's already hard-hit hotel and restaurant industry. Still on the international scene, Iran's President Hassan Rouhani on Wednesday dismissed a U.S. offer to help the Islamic Republic fight its coronavirus outbreak, charging that vicious American sanctions are depriving the country of medicine. Iran has scrambled to halt the rapid spread of the virus that has claimed 92 lives out of 2,922 confirmed infections in the past 2 weeks. Iranian Deputy Health Minister Iraj Harichi wipes the sweat off his face during a press conference with the Islamic Republic government spokesman Ali Rabil in the capital Tehran. It has shut schools and universities, suspended major cultural and sporting activities, and cut back on work hours. That has been the news from Standard Press Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Zamfara FRSC embarks on plate number enforcement. Civil society groups to storm National Assembly over social media bill. Kano Assembly gets committee to investigate Emir Sanusi. On business, oil moves slower as strict eyes OPEC meeting. And on the international scene, Italy shut down schools as death tolls hit 107. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, head of news and current affairs, I am Samira Ibrahim, wishing you a pleasant time. Keep watching Standard Press Television News. Goodbye.